bring in Tom. So, Tom, let's have you come on in and talk about your story so that our audience gets to hear about you.
Yeah. First off, I love hearing Maggie talk. I just know her personally and have seen her work, and she's just amazing to the way she connects with people. So it warms my heart. Um, for me, I think before I was before I had cancer, I was kind of still much a seeker and a looker for happiness and looking for a place to find true, enjoyment of life. And so I'd gone through a successful career as a businessman and doing commercial real estate, and it had gone really well. And I left that to become a business coach, thinking that coaching would be more meaningful and bring more happiness. And it was a bit better, but it wasn't really the level of fulfillment I was looking for. And so I was still kind of in the looking, seeking phase of things. And I went um, through the process of trying to get better at business coaching and happier about it. And then I got sick and I had a black mold infection for about a year and a half, and then went through Lyme disease and for several years. And then cancer was the final stage of illness. So it was almost a 7-year process. And so in that whole process, I love that Maggie talked about getting raw, because I got raw and raw and raw.
Layers are coming off of you.
Oh my goodness. And folks here don't know that Sherry Ann, you were my coach during that time. And so and you kept helping me excavate through the layers. There was just so much armoring and so much conditioning that was between me and my authentic self. And so we did so much work in going into my body and feeling and experiencing and getting down to what's really happening at the deepest level of my experience. And that was a difficult but so meaningful process. It really opened me up to a whole nother level of experiencing life. And I broke through all the armoring to a more direct experience of day-to-day reality. And so going through chemotherapy and all the difficulties of that were actually the end of my journey. And coming out of it, though, after all the treatments I'd gone through for all the illnesses I'd been through, I was pretty devastated. And so the coaching process really kicked into a higher gear post-treatment for me, because at that point, I had so much damage to my body that I was pretty desperate, and a lot of pain, a lot of nervous system pain, nerve pain, different systems shut down and things like that. And so the coaching, you as a coach had to walk alongside me through some pretty dark times. And there were times where I was trying to decide whether I really wanted to live or not, because it was things were so difficult. So the coach, what you did for me, and what I think the coach does is right down there with you. It's like they're willing to be in the darkness with you and allow you to explore the darkness. And by not turning away from the darkness, but actually turning towards the darkness, for me, I came back for myself. I was able to go all the way in. And you would always say, I've got you, I've got you. And, I would always swear at you when you say that. You don't got me, I'm over here by myself. But eventually I felt like you really had me, and I felt like held by you. And I felt like I could let down and let you know what's really happening inside with me. So that was really powerful. As I started to get better through all the coaching work I did and the Qigong and some other things that I did, I had been a business coach and I was ready to come back. And you talked to me about possibly being a cancer coach. I tried to do some coaching on my own. I was trained as a life coach originally, and then as a business coach. I had quite a bit of training, and I was, meeting people that I'd met through the healing journey and trying to help them, and found I really couldn't help them the way I wanted to. And so I finally surrendered to, I guess I need more training. I can't believe it, but I need more training. And so I went through the Cancer Journey Institute and got trained. And the frameworks and the insights of that training were much deeper than I anticipated, because I thought I knew a lot through my experience of being coached, but actually it's like going behind the scenes in a movie. You think what's going on, but there's the producer and there's so much going
Right.
on to be a good coach. So it opened me up to a different way of working. And I think one of the struggles for me as a coach, coming from a very left brain business orientation, was helping people to get into their emotional body and listening to
Mhm.
intuition and opening up insight and inner conviction. And that wasn't natural for me. And so the cancer journey training helped me to find another level of that and keep on the path of going deeper into that larger field of intuition, so that I could bring the wholeness of myself and the wholeness of the client into a deeper level of intimacy together. And that was a breakthrough for me in my coaching, and it's continued. I continue on this path of deeper intimacy with the client, with myself, with the spiritual intuition that can come through at different times. And the cancer journey work really took a deeper inflection point into that journey for me,
Mhm.
and a significant part of it.
Thank you. I just the the pathway that you took is so deep that I could see the desire to, I know what was possible because I went deep. So I want to take my clients deep to that intimate part you're talking about. So just back to kind of bringing in a little bit of what Maggie said about healing. What are you seeing in your cancer journey coaching with your clients when you go to this deep, intimate place in relationship to healing?
You know, um, I was a pretty hard case to get to that healing place for myself, because getting down into the authentic, what's really, what are the life changes, the emotional things that need to be surfaced. And so with my clients, it's really holding the space when they're ready, um, and being open that not every session, but every once in a while, there's a time when they're ready to go into a deeper level of personal intimacy. And as they do, they get to bring up and hopefully heal those parts that have been holding them back, whether it's making a choice, or taking responsibility, or letting go of certain things in their life. They get to pivot points. And I think we walk alongside them with the understanding that, we're not doing it, we're just holding them until they're ready, but we're creating the space for them to see themselves when they're ready. It's like we're holding up the mirror that they're allowing us to hold up. And when it gets strong enough and clear enough, then they can see themselves and they go, you know what, I think I'm ready to make a new choice. Um,
Hmm.
and with the cancer journey, it's different than regular coaching, because there is so many drama points, in the
Right.
process, whether it's a new test, a new treatment. This morning I coached a client. She was trying to decide whether to do a clinical trial, or 4 different chemos, or wait 3 months, or not do anything at all and give up. And so, when they're at those level of choices, only she can make that choice. And she found the choice that was her choice. But, as the coach, what I could use is the cancer journey tools that allowed her to get through all the fear and through all the reactivity, and finally down to her gut, down to her, what she said, she wanted at the beginning of the session was, I want to get to my deepest conviction. And,
Mm.
and I think, what the cancer journey coaching process does is it gives us the tools and the training to help people hold them until they can get to their deepest conviction. It's so important. There's so many choice points, realization points in the cancer journey. Um, and so, that's, I think, really where the rubber meets the road in the coaching process.
Right. Right. I mean, what I'm hearing you say is that there's this wrestle with ourselves, with the situation in a cancer journey, especially when you're making these hard decisions. You're faced with having to make these hard decisions and then trying to do it on your own. Like, how am I going to make this life decision and this life decision or this life decision? And having a coach there, especially one with tools and methodologies to help them get really clear on themselves, so they're making the decision that's true to them. That's kind of like the power
It
moment.
really is. I think it is there's so much circling, cul-de-sacking, in fear, and there's no absolute choice. Nobody knows the best choice, but when people get to the choice that's the truth for them, there can be a whole release, a whole level of peace and just gratitude for, oh my gosh, at least I know what I'm doing. And that's worth an awful lot, as having been a cancer patient and knowing what it's like to get to a critical point and go, oh, I'm going this way. And then learning to trust that choice, because so many people get to their gut or they get to their intuitive yes or no, and then they rethink it. Then another background critic comes up and tries to take that away. And so as coaches, we get to remind them, no. Remember, let's go back. This was a long process. You said this. Is it still true for you? Can you go back to that place again and just check in? And if they can, it gets them from going another, one place is a cul-de-sac, another one's a wrong turn, right? It's like,
Right.
and now they're really
Right.
lost. They're out in the woods somewhere. So yeah.
Oh, what I'm so hearing you say is I stick with them. Like, we know we're going to go, we're digging for gold here. We're digging to find the answer that is truly theirs, that they can powerfully stand in. And when they do that, then that's the right solution for them. That's when
Yes.
the treatment can really work. That's when the healing can happen. And it takes a special person, which I think are the cancer journey coaches, equipped with the tools and the methodologies and all that you've learned through the training, to hold your client in that powerful of a way to also make that decision and find that decision for themselves.
I think you also bringing forward, and I think we don't talk about this maybe enough, is that when people unmask their emotions and can bring them through, and when people get to a yes where they're fully leaning into a choice versus going back and pulling away from a choice but going anyway, the level of healing that can happen is so dramatically different. Because when you're fully in yourself, then all the hormones of self-love and self-confidence are running in your system, not all the hormones of fear and doubt. And when you're fully in a choice, and knowing it was your truth, then you're fully embracing the choice. And again, at the same time, when you're getting those treatments, you're more relaxed, you're more available, your system is stronger because you chose this fully, versus you're going in afraid the whole time and wondering why you're doing this, and you don't feel like you should be doing this, or you don't know you should be doing this. It's a whole different experience in the body system. The emotional support, the energetic support, the hormonal support is completely different. And that's where I think, cancer journey coaches not only make it a better trip, but they actually help the client contribute to their own healing process.
Oof. You just said a mouthful there. And I think we need to pause, because that's so powerful, what you just said. It's like, where else would you get that tap into that well during the cancer journey, treatment phase, or just the cancer journey at all? So I'm going to pause us there with you, because we could continue. There's more to come.